Welcome to the Not My Scene podcast, the podcast where we explore different scenes, communities, subcultures, and corners of the internet and tell you what we find. I'm Yarden.
And I'm Kaya. Hello. I liked that hello. Kind of creative.
Mixing it up.
Uh-huh.
Glad to be back. Just a reminder to get them out of the way. We release every other Tuesday. Go ahead and hit subscribe, share. We're on Spotify, Apple, everywhere else. Yeah.
Wherever you want us, you can get us. Tell your friends.
We're very accessible.
Yeah, call anytime. Always online.
Extremely reachable.
I'm excited for this episode. I feel like we have so much to talk about. I was with you in person a week ago, but many events have transpired since our last meetup, and also I have a lot to discuss that I have a lot of follow-ups from things that we've discussed on prior episodes, so I'm excited.
Me too. Should we start off with our scenes?
Yes. Would you like to go first?
Sure. My scene is Addison Rae, the Addison tour. I went yesterday, the oldest person at the Addison Rae concert.
Way?
Yes.
Nice.
Not. I mean, I think I passed. I think I fit in.
Mm-hmm.
And there were
Young passing.
There were some parents there. So but other than parents, I felt like I was certainly one of the oldest of the people that was like camping there. By camping, I mean like we got there at like 3 p.m., 3:30.
And what time was the show?
Doors were at 7. It started at 8. And I literally never do this. Like I hadn't camped for a show since high school.
Mm-hmm. But it's not every day that Addison comes to town.
It's not. Oh my God, it was so good. Kaya, I really want to make you a fan because I feel like you would really enjoy if you let yourself.
Yeah. For the listeners, I guess it's time I'm exposed. I think I'm what does she say? The world is my oyster and I'm the only girl.
And I'm the only girl.
And the world is my oyster and I'm the only girl who is not a fan of Addison Rae. So pick me. I'm sorry. I hate the words coming out of my mouth. I'm sure in like a year I'm going to be a fan. Maybe even like 2 months. Maybe at the end of this conversation.
Maybe.
And I can like feel myself like hanging on as a hater. You know,
you're just like hanging on to something you decided.
Well, also nothing has changed my mind yet. So I have
changed my
mind. I also have nothing has changed my mind, but I will say I have not been going to those college campuses and holding open debates. Like I have not listened to the album other than the singles that are played whenever I play other things on Spotify because I don't want to give her listens. I'm such a hater.
What? You don't want to give her listens?
No. I want to give all my listens to billionaire Taylor Swift.
Oh my
God. Annoying.
Okay, well, I mean, the singles are amazing, but I love the whole album.
I think that this is a personal problem. And although I'm a lover of pop music in general, Addison's rise was really like aligning with a point for me, I guess, over the spring where I was feeling a very strong sense of like ennui. I was feeling a strong sense of ennui, a feeling of listlessness and dissatisfaction arising from a lack of occupation or excitement. Yeah, I was just feeling like frustrated with the state of the world and having this like kind of really, really accelerated, very much like industry backed, like, and all pop is industry backed. I get that. But it was just too much for me at the time. I didn't want to like listen to this music that was like so like everyone was like telling me to listen to it. So that was kind of my feelings around Addison. And I know I need to just get over it. But also I watched her in that movie, She's the Man, and she was so bad. Sorry.
I haven't seen it. I haven't watched any of her acting,
Her
but
acting
so
was a
can't
flop, but
speak
she's
on that.
found the career that works for her, clearly. Like, she is a successful pop star now. So tell me, Addison.
I felt like she had it. And
Yeah.
like she was pop star in the way that we need a pop star to be. Like she was giving, she was beautiful, she was a beautiful mover. Like I could just tell she like loved what she was doing. Like she seemed really genuine. And the music was so fun. Like the production was so fun, the choreo was so fun. And like I do think there are pop stars that like lately that feel super manufactured and industry backed, like Tate McRae, not to be a hater, but that's
Mm,
someone that comes to mind for me. And like Addison doesn't feel that way to me, even though of course she does have like a commercial
yeah.
backing, but like it doesn't feel like out of the box. It feels unique and like especially
Mm,
musically. Like I feel like the musical influences are original. Like obviously she's pulling from Britney, but also she has those like more like alternative electronic influences. Like she's been talking about Arca for like a really long time, Sophie. Um
yeah. And she did, like, someone was comparing her to Bjork, which is crazy to me, but someone is.
I got chills. I think it was just so fun. And then like the crowd was also so fun. Everyone was just such a big fan and like everyone was like singing all the words, like so happy. I had heard some negative things about other shows, so I was a little worried, but no one was really pushing. It was just like
Love.
such a good vibe. Everyone was like so nice that I met. People were wearing like the coolest outfits ever. I had such overconfidence before the show because I had a really good outfit since I was Addison for Halloween last year. And I was like,
Hmm.
oh my God, like I'm going to be able to get super close and I'm going to be wearing this costume. I'm definitely going to get on stage for the Von Dutch scream. And then like I get there and like everyone was popping their pussies.
So you
Like
did not make it on stage.
I did not. Although I think that I could have if I was taller. I feel like the people that got on were tall and they were wearing like stripper heels. But one of them was wearing a Dykes for Addison shirt. And the other one was like in drag as her in the like pink polka dot, really
Uh-huh.
like ugly, cute outfit that she
No,
was
that was a
wearing.
really good outfit. I mean, her outfits have been really good. I will give her that. I loved the
Yeah.
pink polka dot. Well, okay, maybe I will give the album a listen. I'll think about it. But I'm
Okay.
so glad you had fun. This is what America needs, guys. Two people speaking across difference about Issa Rae. Did she sound good, like vocally?
Yeah, but I think she did have like a strong backing track.
That's okay. It's not what it's all about when it
It's
comes to
not what it's all
pop.
about. I mean, it's like Charlie, like you go
Yeah.
for the fun vibes and it's not like she's an amazing singer.
It's like Lord bending over at the waist with her mic up in the air,
I feel like
completely
this
away
is
from
the
her
year
head.
of people like not singing at their shows. Like the Justin Timberlake. Have you seen those videos?
Yes, that video. I mean, we have to assume like they've just never been singing, but this is the year of like, fuck it, I'm not even gonna pretend anymore. I'm a
Yeah.
singer, not an actor.
His was crazy because he's not like the girls are at least like they're really giving their all like dancing wise and
Yeah,
he's just standing.
like slack arms.
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy.
Okay. What has your scene been?
Okay, I have two mini scenes really fast. The first one is yesterday. I just have to tell you, this is just something I would tell you about regardless of if we were
Uh-huh.
recording, and it was funny. Yesterday, I went to go get my nails done.
They look good. I was noticing. They're very
Thank you.
2009 fall.
Thank you. That's totally what I'm going for. Like, I went to go see you in Atlanta and I was like, this whole city is so Vampire Diaries coded. And then I went and got myself a little pair of Vampire Diaries 2009 fall inspired nails. Um, for the listeners, they're like a really, really, really dark purple.
Oh,
Um,
from here they look brown, but
yeah, they're,
respect.
thank you. So I went to go get my nails done, and the lady who was doing my nails was doing a great job. And I honestly kind of feel like this is my own fault because I pick my cuticles, but she was trimming the cuticles on my pinky finger, and it started bleeding, and it would not stop bleeding. Like, I felt so bad for her because she kept trying to like move things along on the other nails, and then my pinky finger was just bleeding so much. And but it was so funny because she was like doing things to my finger that I was like, there's no I would she was doing things to my finger where I was like, I have no idea what you're doing to my finger right now. Like, she had all of these little like vials and potions and things like in the nail cart next to her, and
Mhm.
she was pouring like so much green stuff on the bleeding finger, but it didn't burn. I was like, what is this? Like, it's just like, it looks like slime. It's not
Was
like,
it stopping the bleeding?
no. I feel like
It
that
was
was
just
the
mixed
intent.
up. There was green stuff mixed up with the blood.
Yes, like I felt so bad. The washcloth they had put on my, sometimes they put you have a washcloth kind of on your lap where they're doing the nails,
Yeah.
and it was like the washcloth was white, but it was just covered in like green and blood.
Well, don't feel bad. She cut your cuticle and she put the green stuff on.
Yeah, but it was just like so much green, and she kept like trying to put cotton on it, and it wasn't
Oh
working.
god. You're,
And
like,
then like
bleeding out at the nail salon.
I'm getting faint. Then the next Lord single bleeding out at the nail salon. And she brought out like these little, they looked like it was like little pieces of wood. Like, it looked like, okay, imagine like a new playground that has like
Mhm.
just had new wood chips put in, and so they're kind of like dark wood. Like, it's like a
Okay.
and it's
Yeah.
like a crumblier wood. Like, it's like a softer, it's not crumbly, but it's like you could pick it up and kind of rip it apart with your hands if you
Okay.
really tried. You have the image?
Sort of. I think I'm imagining wood chips.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Imagine wood chips and then like ripped up into many tiny little bits.
Okay.
She had like this, literally the smallest unit of wood I could imagine without it just being like sawdust. Like, it wasn't sawdust, but
Uh-huh.
it was basically the smallest wood could be before sawdust. And she started putting it on the bleeding. And I was like, is that wood? And she was like, yeah. And like cracked up. But in a way where I was like, I don't think this is wood. And
It seems
I
like you wouldn't want wood to, like, get in a wound.
totally, she was putting wood on the wound. And okay. And then it
It's
like,
like wood in the wound.
it's like wood in the wound. It was crazy. And then like the wood started sticking to the wound because the blood was still going. And I don't know if the wood was there to disinfect or if it was just like to stop it. Like, it was just like, I need to put
She's like,
something
"What other
here.
shit can I put on here?"
Literally, like, the cotton isn't working because it's paper, so I'll just put wood because wood is harder than paper. And then she started like doing the nail with the wood on the wound, so my finger was going in the like gel curing machine, the UV light machine with the wood on it. And now I don't know if you can see, but like there is some wood still in my, like, can you see that?
Uh, no,
Okay,
but
well,
I
I'll take
trust.
I'll take some photos, but yeah, there's wood like kind of permanently now in the wound. And then I was looking it up, like Googling wood, and I think that it might have been coffee grounds because I think sounds like some people online will put coffee grounds in open wounds to stop the
Mm.
bleeding.
You should have tasted it to see what it
I
was.
mean, I probably still could, but now it has
Nail
like
polish.
nail polish and like gel on top of it.
Slime.
So, slime, yeah.
Like, when people do those, like, crazy, manicures, like, on, like, Instagram reels where they're, like, putting, like, food on their nail and then, like,
Yes! Oh my god,
covering
that's like
it.
exactly what happened to me. Like, she like molded wood into a nail and then like put cheese on it or whatever and then
Yeah.
cured the cheese. Yeah, totally. So that's my scene, I guess. I don't know. It's not really a scene. It's just a story I wanted to share. And if anyone knows what she put, I would love to know. If anyone's had something like wood put on their nails before I'm curious.
Or in their wounds.
Or in their wounds. And then my other kind of like scene follow up thing is we've already talked about this a little bit offline, but for any Scenester sisters who were interested in the vintage wedding dress adventure that I'm going on, the dress that we discussed a few episodes ago, which I ordered final sale off Etsy, arrived over the weekend. And it fits. It's amazing. It fits. I'm very excited
It's
about
so
it.
good.
Den has seen it on FaceTime. So I'm stoked. I feel
It's really
like
good news.
really good
You
news.
killed it.
Oh, thank you. But I feel really emboldened now. Like I should be just making more crazy online shopping decisions of just huge final sale purchases. It worked out.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I don't know if that's the lesson.
But the next step for me is there are like I'm getting like very bustle curious. I want to do like a crazy bustle. Drew, if you're listening, stop listening.
Drew, if you're not listening, why aren't you listening?
So true. Drew, you better be listening. And if so, stop right now. Yeah. So that's my new I want to find somewhere that I can get it tailored. I'm trying to find like a creative tailor. Like
Yes, someone that wants to like work with you on the journey.
yeah, and I'm a little anxious about it because yeah, I don't know. If anyone has ideas, let me know. I'm looking for a creative tailor to help me put some wacky bustles into this dress. The other thing I like about the dress is there's like a few random like specks of dirt and stains on it, which I feel like is so nice because this is not me like gaslighting myself. I actually like it because I feel like if I had like a pure white new wedding dress, I would be so anxious about eating or like walking in the
Mm,
dirt in it. And it's nice that this one has been like worn. Like nothing is like super
yeah,
visible, but it's not like brand new. So I like
you're
that
adding
about it.
to its tapestry, its story.
Yeah, when I spill a dirty Shirley down the front of the dress, that'll just be woven into the dress's tapestry.
Exactly.
um yeah, so I will, if people are interested, I will keep talking about the dress as it progresses, but that's where we're at. It fits. I could wear it down the aisle tomorrow, but I want to make some crazy changes, so we'll see.
Woohoo! Very excited.
Woohoo. Okay,
Speaking of exciting,
speaking of exciting, we have a really good topic today, I think.
yeah, it's seasonally appropriate.
Woo.
So we're talking about Rocky Horror Picture Show today, which has been super fun to explore. Dipping our toe back into some IRL scenes. I feel like our
Mm-hmm.
last few episodes were very online, and Kaya and I got to go to a showing with a shadow cast, which was super fun, and we'll talk about.
What that means.
Um, yeah, but yeah, I'm excited. Let us know also if you are liking the online scenes, the IRL scenes. I definitely want to keep doing a mix of both, but I am curious.
I'm curious about that too. And I feel like we should do I if there's any scenes people really want, I like to know like what scenes people are interested in. So, yeah,
Definitely.
let
Yeah,
us know.
we've gotten some good ideas. Yeah.
Rocky Horror is like I'm excited to talk about this and I'm also definitely a little bit intimidated. Like this is a huge scene.
Yeah.
Like I spent a good amount of time looking into this and I feel like I have only scratched the surface because it really is a scene that people get so committed to. Like it's like religious, you know?
It's a
It
cult.
has a
Yeah.
cult like following. So there's a lot to cover here, but hopefully this will be a nice introduction to Rocky Horror if you're not familiar with it, and if you are, we're going to speak on our experience there. So,
Yeah. And I guess just to do like a quick overview, if you don't know, it is a movie. It's extremely camp, low budget musical movie that came out in 1975 and was a live show before that, which I embarrassingly didn't even know
I
until
didn't
we started
either.
getting into this. And so it's been around for 50 years and people are still obsessed with it. And there's showings like every single Friday night is typically when they are all around the country in theaters, and people do shadow casting, which is where they do like live acting in front of the screen, and then there's also a lot of audience participation that goes on. So that's kind of like high level overview.
I don't know if there's another example of a movie that has shadow casting. I'm not familiar with it, but it is really a crazy experience if you haven't experienced it before. Like, it's not just like some lines, it's like the whole movie is being performed in front of the screen where the movie is playing.
It reminds me of like just like what you would do as like a kid with your favorite movie. Like I can never.
Yeah. A childlike love for the film.
Yeah, like can I like act it out too in front of it? With like a movie you've seen a million times.
Everyone
Yeah.
who's doing a shadow cast of Rocky Horror is actually just petitioning the audience to let them have a sleepover.
Literally. They all have a kid feeling.
It's also like, I mean, it's in the name, but it is a kind of like spoof or parody nod to this era of like B horror films
Mm-hmm.
that was really popular, I think between around like the 1950s to the 1970s. And it's like these horror films that were incredibly, I feel like pretty camp themselves, like really
Yeah.
dramatic and like explicit at points and just over the top and like corny and kitschy. So it's like a nod to all of that times like 1,000. And something I didn't know about before this, but I thought this is just a weird synchronicity in like my Wikipedia spiraling of late, but the house where Rocky Horror Picture Show is filmed is called do you remember the name of it? It's like
I don't, but they talked about it in the documentary.
yeah, it's like some manor that has some name. It doesn't really matter, but it's a manor in the United Kingdom, and it was originally owned, maybe it still is owned by this company, the Hammer Film
Mm-hmm.
Company, and Hammer was responsible for like so many horror movies during this era. Like it seems like they were kind of the main producer of horror films during this era of like 50s, 60s, 70s, that then and then like Rocky Horror was filmed at the house where they shot a bunch of those horror films, which is kind of funny.
I'm like, I wonder if they kept filming horror movies there after. I feel like it's kind of like Rocky horrors after that.
Right. And it would kind of be like it would be hard to take it seriously because you'd be like,
Yeah.
so you want me to have an orgy in this pool after like Rocky Horror just shot an orgy in this pool and they were making fun of us? It's going to be hard to do that with a straight face, but that's what Rocky Horror is. Do you want to share your exposure to Rocky Horror or shall I go?
Yeah, I can. I think that I was first introduced to Rocky Horror through Glee.
Me too.
The Glee Rocky Horror episode was so fun. I want to rewatch it now.
We should. It really
We
like
should.
thank God for Glee.
I remember so clearly Mr. Shu and who was the like wide-eyed
Yeah,
teacher
the bug-eyed
doing
wife.
Touch Me.
Yes, me too. And I was so pissed off because I was like, oh, she's just so crazy. And like, I don't like to see him in a sexual context.
He was always in a sexual context. So weird. But I just remember I like loved the songs. I was like, these are so fun. And then I think I just like watched the Rocky Horror actual movie, like in my room at some point in high school after that, probably horned up.
Yeah, crazy thing to watch alone in your room in high school. I think I might have put it on in the Goon Cave. Midnight feature in the Goon Cave.
Every Friday night.
Midnight feature of Rocky Horror in the Goon Cave.
Just me in here. Don't check on me.
Audience participation.
And then I actually didn't tell you this, Kaya, I don't think, but in college, there was like a Rocky Horror group that would do like a shadow cast thing every year, and I auditioned one year.
Oh my God, I did not know that. Who did you audition for?
It didn't really end up being a thing in my life. It was like Callie and I went, we were like, this will be so fun. And it wasn't like you auditioned for someone, or maybe it was if you wanted to be like a main character. I think we were just like, it'd be fun to like be in the chorus,
Mhm.
whatever, to wear a
Mhm.
slutty outfit and dance up there.
Mhm.
um, and all I remember, and like maybe I'll put this photo in the photo dump because it just came up on my memories a couple days ago, was like something happened where I had to like crawl through a tiny space. Like something got stuck. There's like a really funny picture of me like just like crawling through something. But we didn't end up doing it because we were like, we're actually like really busy.
Wait, okay, wait. But what do you mean? You remember crawling, but not through what?
It was like a thing in the wall. I shouldn't have even included this because it's like impossible. I don't remember enough details and it's really hard to explain.
This does sound like a dream you had. But no, I'm glad you included it because I also want to see the photo.
I think we just went and saw it. So that was like the first time that I saw it with a live shadow cast. And then the second time was when you and I went like a week ago.
Okay, cool.
How about you?
I also was introduced to it through Glee, which is kind of like, I mean, if we both were introduced to it through Glee, like there's got to be a lot of people
I
our
feel like
age
everyone our age. Yeah.
I feel like that Glee exposed so much of the GP to Rocky Horror. That was my first exposure. Really remember Touch Me. Yeah. She was so. I wonder what that actress is
Touch
doing
it, touch it,
now.
touch it, touch
Touch
me.
me. I want.
I know. She does kind of have the Susan Sarandon eyes.
She does. Betty Davis eyes.
Besides.
That was my first exposure. And then I was in middle school and my crush was performing in a theater rendition of Rocky Horror that I think my friends Charlotte and Lizzie were already going to go see. And I was like, yeah, I want to go because I could just sit in the audience and like leer at my crush for 2 hours and I'm allowed because I paid a
Wait,
ticket.
did he have like a part?
Yeah, I
Or was
don't
he just a
remember what part.
Transylvanian? Okay.
No, I think
It's crazy to have middle schoolers like doing this.
yeah, I mean, when you say that, my heart immediately clenches and I'm like, maybe this actually I feel like this actually was in high school and we were maybe just doing it as a bit. That makes more sense, right? We were probably in high school.
Yeah, I think
I also think I
so.
wouldn't have done this in middle school because I had too much like shame wrapped up in how much of a crush I
You
had on
had
this
too much on
person.
the line.
Yeah, I couldn't be like caught paying to watch them. So scratch what I said about paying to be able to watch them for 2 hours. This was just all a bit. I went as a bit. Yeah. So, anyways, that was my next exposure to Rocky Horror. But it was the play. It was not like a shadow cast experience. So I had never, and then I watched the movie a few times in high school and maybe middle school too. So that was my second exposure to Rocky Horror. And then my third, other than watching the movie at home in the Goon Cave, was going with you to the Shadowcast viewing. So that was my first Shadowcast viewing. And we definitely need to talk about like the mechanics of that viewing experience and whether we like it. Not that it's really for us to say, but I think we can comment as
Well, we can say
viewers.
whether we liked it.
Yeah, we can say whether we liked it.
Okay, so I guess to set the scene a bit, this is at a theater in Atlanta, the Plaza, which is one of the theaters that does like a every Friday night showing. They do it at 11 p.m., which already felt late for us, but normally they're at midnight or later. And also, Kaya was coming after doing like a music festival, which
Mm-hmm.
that was kind of crazy. And after taking a red eye the night before.
After taking a red eye. But it was kind of nice because I had all this like energy from the festival, but I also wanted to be sitting down. So it was kind of nice.
But you didn't really get to sit the whole time.
That's true. I was on my dogs.
Yeah. So it was us and two other friends, and we got there. We thought we were super late, but when we got there, it was still like a line of people that hadn't been let in yet.
Yeah,
And
I also like really thought it was going to be dead, to be honest. And there were so many people there. I was really impressed.
Why did you think it was going to be dead? Just because it's like every week?
Yeah, because it's every week, and I guess because there was this music festival happening in town. Um, yeah, I guess I was just surprised. I think there's something about something going on every week that makes me feel like it would not be busy. But I think what actually happens with Rocky Horror is there's something like addictive about it, in that the more you go, the more about it you understand, and the more like clued into the like rituals and things you get. So like after
Mm-hmm.
researching all of it, now I'm like, I actually would, I'm much more inclined to go back than how I initially, like,
Yeah.
I want to go back so I like know the things to yell. Like I feel like it just gets more and
Yeah,
more
like it
fun.
definitely seems more fun to go when you know more. I agree.
Yeah, Den's
Um
girlfriend had never seen Rocky Horror.
yeah, I definitely think you should see it without a shadow cast before. So we're in line, and when you're in line, they're like coming around with lipstick to put either a V or an S on your forehead for virgin or slut, which refers to whether you have seen it with a shadow cast. If you
Mm,
just have seen the movie, then they call that masturbating.
Goon Cave.
Goon Cave.
They call that
Um,
goonin. G on the forehead for if you've just seen the movie.
That'd be funny. But we avoided that because we didn't know what was involved, and we didn't want the virgin in our group to be subjected to like anything crazy.
Mm-hmm. We were protective of the virgin.
Yeah, you
We
must
really
protect
should
the
have made her get
virgin.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when we got in, like, yeah, the theater was pretty full.
It
We
was.
were like sitting pretty far back, which also I feel like it would have been kind of a different experience if we were like right up there.
Yeah, I think in the future I would like to be more right up there. But this was good for what it was because we were a little bit tired and we didn't know everything to say. So it was good to have people right
Yeah.
up there who like really knew what to say.
Yeah. And then they like pass around some props before. So they gave us like a little scrap of newspaper.
Hmm.
And there was also like a lot of live entertainment before it started. We were kind of
Yeah.
like, when is it going to start?
There
Like,
was pre-show fanfare. Like they brought a bunch of people up and then I don't know if this is what they always do, but at our show they were like, first everyone showed off their costumes and then there were like four people and they did a contest. They said, if you were an animal, what animal would you be? And they all answered what animal they would be, and then they were like, you have to make the sound of that animal orgasming. And then they all did it, and then we did a cheer based evaluation system of who did the best animal orgasm sound. So things were getting a little bit goofy.
they were trying to warm us up, some foreplay before the movie.
Uh-huh. And then the movie starts and we're sat. And this was my first shadow cast experience. And I will say, like, the viewing experience was kind of insane. Like, I feel like maybe I'm just such a screenager, but I felt like my brain self was like, this is so fun. I love that there's a live cast here and I
Mm-hmm.
want to be watching them. But my like shadow self was like, I want to watch TV. I wish they would get out of the way of the TV so that I could just stare at the screen.
I think that I felt the same, and I think it was due to us not having seen it a lot. Well, I don't know. It sounds like
Hmm.
you've seen it a few times, but like I hadn't seen it in a really long time. And so I was kind of like, I want to watch this movie, guys. And like for the virgin in our group, like I feel like that's why you definitely would want to see it before, because you are not catching the lines that they're saying in the movie.
No.
Um, because there's so much happening both with the shadow cast and then with the audience participation. There are all these traditions built up where when they say, or even in anticipation of a certain line in the movie, everyone in the audience like shouts something at the screen. Like every time Janet comes on, says something, people say slut. Every time Brad says something, everyone says asshole. Those are like the two like protagonists. And then there's like a million other things that get shouted at the
Yeah.
screen.
I made some notes of the ones that made me laugh the hardest. Let me see. Okay. My favorite one was at some point there's like a big face on the screen and the person has kind of like a butt chin. So there's like a dimple in the center of their chin. And this guy yelled so loud, I think someone needs to go fuck that chin. And then this other guy ran on stage and was like standing in front of the screen and made like he looked like someone who's about to take a dive. Like he had like dive hands above his head and like pointy elbows. And he was like jumping up and down and trying to get his dive hands to like fuck the chin.
And
And that
everyone
one,
was chanting, "Fuck that
that
chin."
chin, fuck that chin. And it was very funny. That was my
Yeah, that
favorite.
one was really funny. Also, there was someone who I think was part of the organization that puts it on that was like a professional like shouter at the screen, you know? Like he was
Mm.
like kind of walking
Leading the
around and
group.
being like a loud voice to make sure
He had
everyone
a
was like
laser
saying the
pointer.
things.
He kept
Yeah,
laser
that was
pointering at the
funny.
screen. Something else that was funny that was something I had never experienced before since this was my first shadow cast was there were a lot of like modern things people were yelling. So it's kind of interesting to see how the like Rocky Horror discourse evolves. Like there was a couch at one point on screen and like multiple people in the audience yelled, take my drink, bitch, I'm JD Vance and I'm gonna fuck your couch. And like
Yeah, and it feels like if it just keeps building and building, like maybe we need to like remove some as we go because it's like turning into too much maybe.
yeah, you dropping hints that
Be-
you just want to watch the movie.
well, I just feel like if it's only additive, it's like gonna get to a point where like it's shouting every second,
Which it almost
which it
is.
almost is.
Yeah, yeah. um
But I do think it's very fun. And I do think it's fun that it's an experience where you're doing all the things that you're not normally like supposed to do in a movie theater.
yeah, like at one point I kind of was like overcome and I just wanted to like scream an expletive, but I was like I didn't do it still because I didn't feel, I guess I'm not there yet, but it is really fun. Like you feel like you can just do whatever you want, kind of. Not in like a bad way.
It would have been funny if you'd done that and then people were like, what the fuck? That was really rude.
Right. No, I still like I had that fear in my heart. But maybe they would be like, "Oh, like I guess she really like she knows it even more than I know it. Like I didn't know that one." You have to say it with the
Did you write down any
confidence.
other funny ones?
I mean, there was just some really funny Bob Cheese things in the beginning. Like at the start, they were like going over ground rules for what you can and can't do. And they said, first rule, do not fuck with the hair. And then they played, I whip my hair back and forth, I whip my
Oh,
hair
yeah.
back and forth. And like I was just like, this is so goofy. And that rule is a very relevant rule because later on in the movie, there's plot around not fucking with the hair, not pulling the wig off. Otherwise you might uncover something that you didn't want to.
Mm-hmm. So then, in addition to a cast acting it out in front of the screen with props, and in addition to people like shouting things in response to the lines, there's also physical audience participation. Like there are several points in the film where everyone is supposed to like get up, like everyone gets up and does the time warp dance. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's like a part where all of the virgins are supposed to like repeat like an
Make
oath or something.
Yeah, and this was funny. I had never experienced this, I don't think. So this was the only point at which the shadow cast diverged from the movie. They were like, "This scene is boring," and then they like led a oath where all the virgins had to like put their hand up and swear that they were like no longer a virgin because they had watched Rocky Horror. But that does remind me, I want to say, even though I was like really trying to watch the screen, I did have a great appreciation for, it's pretty insane how accurate the shadow cast is to the movie. Like they really know every line and they
Yeah.
act out the whole thing exactly right.
I know, so good. And then also there's a part where it's raining really hard in the movie, and that's when everyone like puts the newspaper over their heads, because that's what Janet does in the movie. And then like someone comes around and it was like squirting us with a squirt gun. So it was
It
very
was
like
really fun.
4D experience.
Super 4D and really fun. That was my favorite part, I think,
Yeah.
that and the time warp. Um yeah, so that was our IRL Rocky Horror experience. Um
Yeah.
and then Den, you went to go see the documentary, right?
Yes. So then a week later, they were showing I think it's a new documentary about Rocky Horror called The Strange Journey, I think is what it's called. And it's probably to align with the 50th anniversary. But I went and saw that at the same theater, and that was really cool. I definitely learned a ton. I mean, I pretty much knew nothing about Rocky Horror before. So
Mhm.
I learned about the whole history of how it started as a play, and it started in London. And then they brought it to LA with like pretty much the same cast. And then what was really cool is that like they pretty much used the entire same cast for the movie, which is
Mhm.
pretty unusual. Brad and Janet were different, which I think is also works really well because like they're the two like American actors, and it like works for them to have different accents from the
Yeah.
rest of the people.
Did you see I
um,
found a really funny quote on that point about Americanness in the movie. Was the costume designer like part of the documentary at
yeah,
all?
yeah.
Okay. I found this really funny quote by her. Apparently, she says she did no research for her designs, and the costumes are crazy. Like they're very like punk rock inspired with like fishnets and like dyed brightly colored like wigs and hair. And but this quote really made me laugh. She did no research, and she says, quote, when I designed Rocky, I never looked at any science fiction movies or comic books. One just automatically knows what spacesuits look like, the same way one intuitively knows how Americans dress. I had never been to the United States, but I had this fixed idea of how people looked there. Americans wore polyester so their clothes wouldn't crease, and their trousers were a bit too short. Since they're very keen on sports, white socks and white t shirts played an integral part in their wardrobe. Of course, since doing Rocky, I have been to the United States and admit it was a bit of a generalization, but my ideas worked perfectly for Brad and Janet.
That's
Really
so
made me laugh.
funny.
One just
um,
automatically knows what spacesuits look like.
it's true.
It is true.
We're born knowing.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and the documentary was made by Richard O'Brien's son. So Richard
Okay.
O'Brien is the creator, the screenwriter, and he plays Riff Raff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so it's very much like focused on him, like he's the main person interviewed, and he definitely has some problematic views which we should discuss as well. But I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know when I watched the documentary, and I was just like pretty enamored with everyone that they interviewed. Like everyone in the cast and crew just seems really, really cool. And it seemed like so fun to make. Like they filmed the whole thing in 6 weeks, and it just seemed like they had so much fun. And like everyone was so creative, and they said like it just like felt like something they'd never done before. And they just all
Mm.
had like really good vibes.
It's a really good thing to hear, honestly, because you want to believe that that's the case, but there was definitely a very small part of me when I was watching it this time being like, I wonder how like conditions were on the set, like this is really crazy, and this was like way pre intimacy coordinator
Mm,
or whatever, but like you want to believe that it's like that it was like this like queer like artistic beautiful thing,
yeah, like that
and
they all loved it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And like Susan Sarandon, like I wasn't familiar with her game, but it was funny actually
She's so
because
hot.
she's so hot. She looks so good still. She plays Janet in the movie, and she was featured in the documentary. And like earlier that day, actually, she came across my desk because I saw that she was part of the flotilla going to Gaza, like bringing aid. So she's like
Oh,
on
wow.
that right
Okay.
now. Um,
How
and
old
then
is
I like
she?
looked
She's
her
in
up.
her like
She's
70s?
78.
Nice. Wow, badass. Susan Sarandon rocking with Greta Thunberg.
They're kikiing.
Yeah, she's super hot. We have been naming our trivia team Susan Sarandon for the past like 5 years in honor of how hot she is.
That's awesome. Yeah, she was so cool. And I looked it up. She's like been doing a ton of I've looked it up how hot she is. She's been doing a ton of activism like for a long time. She's been arrested, like doing like anti-war protests and stuff like that. And she was talking because this reminded me because you're talking about like the intimacy coordinator stuff, but she was talking about how when they were filming, like the guy who was playing Rocky was like super timid and she like and like didn't want to like touch her and stuff and she was like really like touch me like so she was like
That's crazy. It's like literally like the plot.
I know but she was like come on so
She
she
was
was like
like, yeah, the
super
guy
into
who played
it.
Rocky was like, it was like his first day on Earth.
No, it kind of seemed like that. And but no, she was really excited to like play a role that was like celebrating like sexuality and like a woman being sexual. And she had played a lot of roles before that that were kind of like how Janet was at the beginning. So she was like doing like an
Yeah.
over the top version of like the roles she'd played before, like very like wide eyed and like innocent, like clutching her pearls.
Mm-hmm. And it sounds like it would be really cathartic as an actor who's been like typecast to get to be like just like blow it all up in like a like very perverted version of that. Perverted in like a good way.
Totally.
I don't know if that's the right word to use though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then apparently she also like had a very controversial scene in a 1983 movie, The Hunger, which was one of like the first like lesbian sex scenes in a major film. So she
Wow.
continued to break barriers with her sexual performances. And then a lot of the movie, of course, was about like the community around it. So like the live performances, they were a hit like in London and LA, and
Mm-hmm.
then they flopped in New York, and then the movie really flopped at first too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but they just needed to find their cult following. So it really started blowing up when they started doing the midnight showings, and they would
Mm-hmm.
do like a midnight, a 2 a.m., and like sometimes like a 4 a.m. showing at like a bunch of theaters. And I thought it was really cool to think about like how like the callbacks spread at that time because like obviously there wasn't social media.
Yeah.
So it was like it's cool that it still like spread and there was like this common like these inside jokes in the community and they would say it would be like from someone would like visit New York and then they would learn the things people would shout in New York and then they would like go back to Chicago or whatever and like bring them there.
That is so cool.
And there was also a fan club paper.
Like a newspaper?
Yeah.
That's so cool. And it would be like mailed around.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I was
Yeah.
reading about the callbacks, and according to an author, Jay Hoberman, who wrote Midnight Movies, he says it was after 5 months into the film's midnight run when lines began to be shouted by the audience. Louis Ferrese Jr., a normally quiet teacher, upon seeing the character Janet place a newspaper over her head to protect herself from rain, yelled, "Buy an umbrella, you cheap bitch." Originally, Lewis and other Rocky Horror pioneers did this to entertain each other each week, trying to come up with something new to make each other laugh. This quickly caught on with other theater goers and thus began the self proclaimed quote counterpoint dialogue, which became standard practice. So it is really funny to think about like the first person just be like becoming overcome in the audience, like a quiet school teacher, and then just being like, buy an umbrella, you bitch.
I know. It's so cool to be credited with that.
It's awesome. The first
Oh yeah,
callback.
something also about our showing is that there were like a lot of like local ones too, like that
Yes.
referenced like this one of the school boards in the Atlanta area, or like a lot of
Yeah.
stuff about Georgia Tech. So that's funny because it means we could go to like other ones around the country and we would have a new experience.
Yeah, totally. It's the first thing I do whenever I go to a new city is I go see Rocky Horror so I can get up to speed on how to throw strays
I'm
at
sure
different
that is
local
someone.
organizations for sure. I mean, I'm like ready to talk shit about Georgia Tech.
Yeah. It would be a cool thing to do.
Yeah, totally. Like a cultural tour of Rocky Horror.
Yeah, and also like it would be fun because you would already be in like a familiar space and have so much in common with people in like a new city.
Yeah,
I think
we
that's
should do it.
fun.
We should go to some
We
more Rocky.
should.
I was just going to say something funny about the midnight runs was that um I don't know if they talk about this in the documentary, but the first midnight screening was on April 1st, which is just kind of goofy, like very Bob
Yeah.
Cheese to drop on April Fool's Day. And then also Rocky, this is just for Seattleites, but Rocky Horror was it was the mystery movie at the first ever SIFF, first ever Seattle International
Oh,
Film
cool.
Festival. They played Rocky Horror as like a midnight mystery screening. So it's kind of cool.
I like that fun fact.
I thought you would. What is this? A cinephile podcast?
Something else I thought was cool was like the fact that it was like Friday and Saturday nights, like from like 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. Like it did actually like keep a lot of people like in a safe space. And
Mm,
like we kind of like were like scoffed at it when we read the description of the showing we went to. It was like an alternative to Atlanta nightlife, but like it genuinely like is like a safe place for people to be, especially like they interviewed someone who was like unhoused at the time and was like doing sex work, and he was like it was like during the AIDS epidemic, and he was like just actually starting to go there all night like probably like saved me um
wow.
in many ways. So
Yeah,
that is cool.
it's really cool. And
um
like I'm sure it would be like if you're going every week, it really would be community building. Like you would really get to know the people who were going
totally.
every week and um yeah,
Yeah.
that's really cool.
They also talked to this troupe out of St. Louis, Flustered Mustard, who and they perform like all around the area a lot of times in small conservative towns, and like they talked about how when they will first go to a town, like it'll be like people like coming in like MAGA shirts, and then like the next time the people come they'll be wearing rainbow stuff, and then the next time they'll be like in drag.
The
I
same
don't know if
people?
that's what they said. I'm sure that is not everyone,
That's
but I
crazy. Like, can
loved.
we just get everyone to watch it once? Like that, what an effective, immediate transformation.
I know.
It's like those videos that are like me after listening to like whatever once. And then it's like me after like me 3 days into
Yes,
whatever.
totally.
That's awesome. From MAGA to drag like that.
From MAGA to Draga.
That's cool. And that was like a modern interview, it sounds like.
Yeah, yeah. So
Cool.
they brought it. They brought it to the present day.
Hell yeah.
Um,
I mean, we haven't really spoken very much about the plot, but I think we should keep it that way. I think if you haven't seen it, like you should just go see it. Um
yeah.
yeah. Also like the plot
Um,
makes no sense. So there's not really any point.
right. But I was thinking about what it would be like if the movie like became a craze right now, because I do feel like it would be so different in a bad way. Like
Mm,
I feel like with the like trans panic that's happening. Like there would one be the conservative side like freaking out if this many people were like suddenly into it and like doing drag every week. They would be
Mm-hmm.
like, this movie is like turning people trans. And
Yeah.
then there would also be like so much kind of annoying like Gen Z discourse. So is Brad bi? Is Janet bi? Like
Well, it's interesting too, like when you watch the movie, it's obviously it's this like very important like touchstone in queer media, and this like it is like this very bold statement on radical self-acceptance and love and like I
mhm.
don't know, just like being,
Expression.
yeah, absolutely, like sexual expression. And then also it was made in the 70s, and like there are some themes that would like definitely not fly now. Like it's
Yeah.
I think like Dr. Frankenfurter, the main character, obviously is like he is a villain. Like
Mhm.
he commits sexual assault and like cannibalism and all of these like
Yeah.
very bad things. And yeah, I feel like society now, I feel like we're like not able to consume, like everyone would just be like it would either be like canceling him or being like, yeah, see, so like all trans people are
Yeah.
cannibals. Like it's
Yeah.
interesting to think about. Obviously the 70s was a time of like extreme social strife, but I feel almost in some ways like we've like regressed in this moment right
Totally.
now
Like
where
we
we like,
can't just have fun anymore.
no, like there's no capacity for like, yeah, exactly. We can't just have fun anymore. Why don't you let me watch cannibalism on screen? It's fine. Like queer characters don't have to be perfect without like making a statement about like the morals of everyone in that like population.
Right, right. And like there's definitely like some really valid like criticism of how it's like an obviously like transphobic movie in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned, like the main character is a villain. Um the he also like does a lot of the things that people are like most freaked out about trans people doing, like the like they are like they're lying to you, they like are
Yeah, like J.K.
deceiving you,
Rowling
like
has definitely watched Rocky Horror Picture Show and it
yeah,
radicalized her.
yeah, like Frankenfurter like pretends to be, okay, I'm revealing plot, like pretends to be Janet sleeping to sleep with Brad, pretends to be Brad to sleep with Janet. And of course like the terms they use are like not the terms that are used by the trans community today, like transvestite, transsexual.
Yeah.
So there's like a lot that's outdated and like not, like quote unquote good trans representation.
But there is the question also of like, well, like, okay,
Hmm.
O'Brien, the creator, like he identifies as trans, and I mean, I haven't like read enough about how to interpret this, but I think that there you could also be like, oh, like this whole thing is so tongue in cheek. Like he's making fun of like people thinking that like that's how trans people are, like he's like such an
Right. Yeah.
absurd
Yeah.
monster that it's like, yeah.
Yeah. And Richard O'Brien in the interviews talks about like his own gender and being somewhere in the middle between man and woman, and like, thinking we're all on a spectrum, and how like writing the movie and writing the play and like creating the movie like helped him realize his own gender. So that was all really cool. And then like I recently just like read these quotes from him where he's
Oh
like talking
no.
about how he thinks trans women can't ever be real women. So definitely like not the greatest takes from him. I do think like after seeing the interviews, he's coming at it from like we should live in like a
What was
post-gender
the quote
world kind
about
of way.
women?
He was basically like, to paraphrase, it was like, you can cut off your thing and wear a dress, but you'll never be that doesn't make you a real woman. You're somewhere in between, and that's okay.
Okay,
But it's
yeah.
kind of like contradicting like his own philosophy, because in the interviews in the documentary he's like, I think there's like a spectrum from male to female, and like some people are all the way on one end and some people are all the way on the other. So like why can't someone assigned male at birth be like all the way on the
All
end
the way
of
on one, right?
feminine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also saw that apparently he like got married to a 30-year-old when he was 70 in like
Whoa.
2013, which is just like, whoa, okay, like I
Okay,
can't really
riffraff.
okay, riffraff. Yeah, like there's nothing overtly wrong there, but there is something a little bit like, whoa.
Yeah. The movie and the community has also like done so much like positive for the queer community, and like at least in my experiences with the community here in Atlanta and like in college, the shadow cast was mostly like queer and trans and gender nonconforming people. And obviously, like, it helps a lot of people feel free to express themselves however they want, whether or not they're trans.
Yeah, I feel like regardless of like the actual like content of the movie itself, the point still stands that like going to see Rocky Horror is like a very liberating space like we've talked about. So at least we have like
Mm-hmm.
that institution, like that is like a point,
Yeah.
this that is a product of this like art.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so after I saw the documentary, and the documentary was being shown in like one of the small theaters upstairs at the plaza, and then it was perfect timing because I walked downstairs and everyone was lined up to see Rocky Horror.
Okay.
So I asked one of the very flustered running around Shadowcast members if I could interview her. Hi, what's your name?
Hi, I'm Maddie. I'm from LDOD, the Atlanta cast.
Nice. When did you start getting involved?
I started getting involved it's going to be about a year ago. So a year since, and it's been like one of the best years of my life.
What brought you in?
My roommate actually is on cast, and I just kind of saw how like amazing his Friday nights were, and it was just an awesome community of queer people, and just a tradition that we've been upholding for so long. Why not join?
What's one thing that you've gotten out of the community?
Well, just community, man. I mean, it's so much understanding. I feel definitely self confidence. I feel like everybody really hypes each other up here, and just finding awesome like queer friends that you can be yourself with. It's been amazing.
So cool.
It seems nice to have such a routine for every Friday.
Mm-hmm. Every Friday, I engage with a beautiful community and get to perform as part of a creative output that I love. Seems really good.
Every Friday, I simulate sex behind a sheet for a live audience.
Every Friday,
Yes.
I bring my high school goon cave to life in front of 50 strangers and one man who I know with a laser pointer.
And then I went to a group of gals in line and interviewed them. All right, what are your names?
My name is Maggie.
Julia.
I'm Paige.
And are you virgins or sluts in Rocky Horror terms?
Fucking sluts. Oh, you know it's sluts. We're crazy sluts, but for the first time in a hot minute, we do have a virgin among us, but she's getting her ticket.
You come to this regularly? So we go to Agnes Scott, so we're here mostly during the school year, but I would say when we do, we probably come like once a month, maybe every other month. And did you start getting into it during college or before? Like, how did you all get in?
My mom is big in just like the concept of it. Like, I'm from Savannah, so like we do like stage plays of it, so she really liked it.
But like freshman year of college, I came here with Lou for the first time, and it was like it changed everything. Like I haven't watched it as a movie since. It's just like it's only an experience for me. It's not like a movie.
What's one thing you guys love about it?
I love the community. It's fun.
I love everyone.
And it's so
everyone knowing the bits.
You met people through it?
Somewhat. Someone in my sociology class was like in the cast, and I didn't know that until like I came here one day, and they were like, "Oh my god, how's the sociology homework going? And it was a very sociology moment.
I feel like that's like if I was the person in the cast, that's a very sociology nightmare. But I guess it's not, because actually, like, this is a really supportive community. But
Totally.
yeah, that would be really funny to like run into a classmate when you're moonlighting in Rocky Horror.
Making up like a callback that's like about the sociology class just for them.
Someone get this person. This person hasn't done their sociology homework. If I could make some like a reference to actual sociology, I would, but I honestly have like no idea what sociology
This person
is.
doesn't even know in-group out-group theory.
Very good, Den.
Shout out to my soc friends.
Yeah, seriously. That's so fun. I love these interviews. I feel like they really capture the feeling when we were waiting in line there, like just buzzing. It's a fun place. It's just a fun
They all had
place
really
to go
good
have fun.
outfits too.
I bet. That's awesome. Yeah. Well, that's super cool. I feel like if I just want to like throw some facts at the listeners. If you haven't seen Rocky Horror by now, and if we haven't already sold you on this, it is the longest running theatrical release in history. When Fox was acquired by Disney, they like withdrew all archival footage of different movies, but they made an exception to let theaters continue to screen Rocky Horror. And let the traditional midnight showings continue.
Imagine if they didn't. That would be fucked.
That would be fucked up and also kind of on brand.
Yeah.
And to commemorate the film's 50th anniversary, there's a new 4K remaster of the film, which is the result of a 10-month restoration effort by Walt Disney Studios that's going to be released in theaters in 2025. So this is the perfect time to go see it for the first time. And also it is really seasonal. I don't know if we've talked about this yet. It runs like all year round, but if you're somewhere where it maybe doesn't play as often, I think there's like some tradition around going to see it, like specifically around Halloween. So it's a great time to dress up and go see Rocky Horror if you haven't already.
Yeah, like your local theater is probably playing it in October.
The only other thing I wanted to say on Rocky Horror before we get to Scenester Sisters is Sabrina Carpenter. It's so interesting, like the point about like whether or not it would like be like whether or not we could have Rocky Horror right now. So it came up for me recently because the music video for Sabrina Carpenter's like latest lead single from the album Tears is like very Rocky Horror inspired, and Coleman Domingo plays Dr. Frankenfurter, or like a character inspired by Frankenfurter, and Sabs plays Janet. And I was somehow I found myself on the Sabrina Carpenter snark Reddit, or maybe it was just like the Sabrina Carpenter Reddit, because I was reading about the music video and I wanted to like understand more about like what inspired her to make it. And I was so shocked that, or I shouldn't have been shocked because it was snark, but so many people were really hating on her and being like, this, if this is like her attempt at like making a music video about sexual liberation, like this is like such a fucked up depiction of trans people. Like the trans people in the video are just like ripping her clothes off and like exposing her and like sexually assaulting her. And I was like, okay, yeah, you guys haven't seen Rocky Horror Picture Show, like right on.
I need to watch the music video again.
It's not even that bad. They were being like so dramatic. There's just like a scene where she goes through like a hallway of hands, I feel like, and they like rip her clothes off, and then at the end she's like dressed like Janet in her little like vintage bra and get up. So,
I feel like it's just like hot.
It's just hot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like if non-trans hands were ripping the clothes off, no one would be like, that was so fucked up. So maybe it's like, why don't you take a look in the mirror and really think about this? But it's a fun music video. I recommend. I like it. Okay, well, could it be your scene?
I want it to be more my scene, like we talked about. Like I'm kind of like, I want to go to more showings with a shadow cast in different places. I think that would be fun. And I think I want to just like watch the movie at home in the Goon Cave again soon, to have like an uninterrupted experience. Even during the documentary when they would like play little clips, I'd be like, oh, I want more. Like I just love the songs so much.
Yeah, they're so good.
I don't think I'm gonna become like an every week person, and I don't think I'm gonna join a shadow cast, but I do think it could be a little bit more my scene.
Yeah, I
How about
agree with
you?
that. I feel like it really gives me the feeling it that I have when I take like a high school drama class, or I go to like an improv class, or I like any of these things where you like get out of your comfort zone and people are just like so comfortable being cringe
Yeah.
in front of you. And it's like I love that feeling when it starts and you're like, oh, like I am feeling uncomfortable being here. And then I love like the shedding of that feeling and being like, oh, everyone is
Yes.
super supportive and I can just be a little weirdo here. And like
Yeah.
that's so fun. So yeah, I love it. I don't think I'm going to be going like regularly, but I definitely want to go see it more. And I feel like I'm just going to try to make more of a push to get my social circles to go see it. You know, like I want to go see it in the Bay Area during the Halloween
Yeah.
time. So yeah, I love it. It's kind of my scene. I'll say that. I'm a casual enjoyer. Oh, I have one more
Okay.
thing I want to say about Rocky Horror before we end. And that's that, sorry, this is a spoiler, but the act of Dr. Frankenfurter cutting out part of Eddie's brain to put that brain into the body of his new lover to make a better lover is very my boyfriend is AI coded. And Rocky as a
Mm.
boyfriend is very my boyfriend is AI coded. Like in some ways, Dr. Frankenfurter was like the OG like my boyfriend is AI redditor. He did it first.
That's so true. He just like created this like mindless thing that
Yeah. He
to
didn't
be
have
his
chat to make
pet.
it. So he
Yeah.
had to do it with his own two
The
hands
old
and alien
fashioned way.
science, the old fashioned way. Okay. Scenester Seaster. Bob, she's
Okay.
update. Do you want to read this one?
Sure. All right, this is from Naomi. First of all, thank you so much for this episode. This was the one I was most excited for, and it was such a treat. Made that much sweeter with Charlotte. Hi, Charlotte. I love you and miss you if you're listening. I have many thoughts on this episode, and I'll be honest, there were a lot of takes I didn't agree with. My main gripe is that I'm having a hard time with comparing Bob Cheese and Chugi at all. To me, Bob Cheese describes a sense of humor slash meme slash joke style, while Chugi describes an aesthetic slash taste. Another point is to me, Bob Cheese is more pure than what you're describing, simply a sense of humor revolving around randomness. I totally get the association to add in the culture of hot topic slash gamer slash incel vibes, but to me that is almost a separate aesthetic, maybe one that could be more properly contrasted with Chugi. I think I associated it differently because I was younger for the Bob Cheese era, so it felt more pure to me. So this is my biased POV. I digress though. My main thing I wanted to share is one of the most Bob Cheese pieces of media in my childhood was the ASCF YouTube videos. I literally thought they were the funniest thing in existence, and me and my friends would quote them religiously. I can still quote them to this day. I was surprised it wasn't brought up, so I'm curious if you guys were aware of them, and if not, I oblige you to check them out. I would love to know your thoughts. Also, Kaya, just because you posed the question, I had iFunny downloaded on my iPod Touch in middle school. Loved.
Yes.
Such a good email.
Such a good
Before we get
email.
into like the
The meat.
disagreements, the meat of it, did you watch the YouTube video or did you know of the ASCF videos before?
Yeah, I watched it and I was not aware of these YouTube videos before, but they're so Bob Cheese.
Same.
Like the like
They're the most
scribble
Bob Cheese
doodle.
thing.
It's so Bob Cheese. Like it was like we were the forefathers of Bob Cheese, the content we were consuming. And then by the time they made these ASDF YouTube videos, it was so purely distilled into like perfect Bob Cheese
Yes.
content.
Yes. It's like in a lab Bob Cheese.
Literally.
I also hadn't seen them before, but if anyone is still confused if we didn't do a good enough job describing Bob Cheese, if you look up the ASCF videos, you will know what we're talking about.
Exactly. Okay, I think Nomi's opinions here are completely valid. I think that a lot of the aesthetic things that we were calling Bob cheese, I was calling Bob cheese. And I
Mhm.
think it's fair if you want to keep Bob cheese to the brand of humor, like that's valid. I do think that I was being a bit sloppy when I was contrasting Bob cheese and Chugi. Like they are not always
Mhm.
you they do not need to necessarily be pitted against each other. But I will say that I don't know, for me like humor was like such a defining part of like aesthetics and other parts of
Mm.
my life. I guess when I was like a tween, that it's really hard for me to dissociate like that jokey stuff with all these other things I associate there, I guess.
Yeah, I definitely, like, agree with most of Nomi's email. Like, I feel like I was trying to express some of these thoughts during the episode, like,
Yeah.
especially, like, I think comparing Bob Cheese and Chugi is very much apples and oranges, like, they're kind of different categories, and we were getting a little carried away with just, like, wanting to sort every single thing, where some
We love to
things
sort.
we love to sort. Some things are neither and some things are both.
Yes.
Um, and but I also agree with you about like things are not created in isolation. Like aesthetics are influenced by the humor of the times. Um
Right. Like
so
people were going to Hot Topic and they were buying the shirts with the Bob Cheese memes on the shirts.
true.
Like that is going to bleed into some identity there.
Yeah, but I think that doesn't make all of Hot Topic Bob Cheese, and that doesn't
No,
make like all emo people Bob Cheese.
no.
There are just some Bob Cheese items at Hot Topic.
Yeah. Yes. And I appreciate this email because I think like it's important that we keep Bob cheese as a concept clear and defined and we don't want to like let it like it can't be everything. You know what I mean? We can't let it lose value by becoming like too muddy.
Yeah, we're like trying to find the Bob Cheese and everything.
Yes, yes. And like it's not always going to be there. And that's okay.
No. Also, like, there's a few things that have come up in my life recently that are super Bob Cheese. One is okay, randomly yesterday, I saw a guy wearing a Loaded Diaper t shirt, which is the fictional band from Diary of a Wimpy Kid. It's Roderick's band. And I was like,
Insane,
oh my
Cole.
God. And then today, maybe it was the same guy, but I saw like a car today with a Loaded Diaper sticker. And I was like, this is insane. So the Bob Cheese revival is real. And then I also, two separate people today sent me a TikTok of a guy. Well, I guess sent us a TikTok on our shared account of a guy who like worked in a school talking about how kids still think the name Bob is really funny, which I love
That gives me great hope.
for the future. And I had heard that the
Mhm.
name now was Jeffrey, but glad to hear it's also Bob.
Mm.
But that got me thinking like maybe some of our associations are like tied to the time when we were into Bob She's humor, which was when we were like tweens. But it's like, oh, like it was so popular then, but it's like, no, we were just
We
kids
just
then.
grew
And
up.
like and it still is just as popular. So that's why like we connect it to things like Hot Topic. Okay, this is just a theory and I don't know if it
Right,
stands, but I'm
right.
like, are we just connecting it to that because that's when we were that age? But it's kind of like when people are like, oh, like no one like decorates Easter eggs anymore. It's like, no, they do. Like you're just not a kid anymore.
Right, right. No, that's a great point. I I feel like there's something early 2000s coded about I think there's a specific flavor to the middle school humor of that time that's really Bob cheese to me, but I think that also what you're saying is right. And I think that um yeah, I mean the Bob and the cheese is still out there. Like if you're in middle school, you're gonna find that stuff funny, and maybe we just like aren't hanging up out with enough middle schoolers to have our fingers on the pulse.
Well, I do think like there is some truth to it being more popular then, because I feel like just like the memes then that were like the icon has cheeseburger and stuff like that, like I feel like adults were still like on those websites and like creating those memes.
I agree. Adults like that guy from the My Boyfriend is AI, the boyfriend in the AI generated
Eric.
thing. Like Eric. Eric was consuming Bob Cheese stuff then.
But maybe like maybe Eric's are still consuming Bob Cheese stuff.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's so true. 2 modern Bob Cheese things that I've just been thinking about recently is Hannah brought up that like it's interesting to think about the cultural ramifications of Bob Cheese if we do think about it as being tied to that era, like how that emboldened like the Elon Musks of the world to create, well, specifically Elon Musk to create Doge. Did we talk about this before?
Oh my God, we didn't even talk about Doge.
Like the fact that we have a government department called
that is Bob
Doge
Cheese.
that is Bob Cheese. It's the Department of Bob Cheese. And like if we never had the Doge meme, like that whole like crypto thing was so Bob Cheese.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Like the dark side of
this
Bob
is what
Cheese.
happens when people don't grow out of Bob Cheese.
Yeah. Literally. So true. So that's one kind of, that was a Scenester from Hannah. She wanted me to speak on. And then the other thing I was just thinking about like this week is the Charlie Kirk bullets. I'm going to just preface this by saying I'm still trying to get my hands around what a groiper is and all this shit, but like Uwu notices bulge on a bullet, and if you're reading this you're gay, LMAO, and Bella Ciao, Bella Ciao, Bella Ciao, Ciao, Ciao. Come on. I mean, it's Bob Cheese. Like I think we don't want to admit it's Bob Cheese.
Bullet.
Literally put to death by a Bob Cheese bullet. Like, you know, I don't want to acknowledge that that's necessarily Bob Cheese, but it is. Like that is so Bob
That's
Cheese.
so true. That's
and I don't
crazy.
know, like I think there's like maybe it's quotes from a video game or something and I'm not fully understanding, but yeah, and if anyone can explain to me what that is, that would be helpful. But no, so Bob Cheese is alive and well, whether we like it or not.
You just might not be looking in the right places.
There's Bob Cheese around the corner for all who can. What's that Dumbledore quote? That's like, light may be found in the darkest of time. I gotta do this. This is Bob Cheese, the very act of it. Bob Cheese can be found even in the darkest of times if one only remembers to look at the bullets that killed Charlie Kirk. There we go. All right. Thank you, Nomi. That was an awesome email.
Yeah. Write us at notmyscenepod@gmail.com. Find us on Instagram, Not My Scene Podcast, and TikTok.
Yay. We'll see you next week.
All right. See ya.
Bye.